Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ju, and today I am back with another video for you guys. In today's video, I'm gonna be bringing you guys the story of my migration, or I should say my migration story. So a few people have asked me to do this video and I've been dragging my feet, but today finally I'm gonna do the video for you guys. So I'm gonna be telling you guys the story of how I came from Nigeria to the US, the backstory that you will never hear, the struggles behind it, if any, and the joys along the way. So this is the video. Let's go. So if you guys already know, or if you didn't already know, I'm telling you now. I moved to the US when I was 18. A few years after high school, I moved here, and I didn't move here on my parents' funds because my parents did not have that kind of money to send me abroad. But I moved here on God's grace. Let me just say that, God's grace. So let me give you guys the gist. So when I was in high school, I believe SS1, to the Americans, it would be ninth grade. I remember that day we went to church. We had an evening program in church, and my mom was the secretary of the church. My mom was a very busy woman. We were always going to church. I used to hate church, but then I just newly given my life to Christ. So no, actually in SS1, I had not given my life to Christ. I gave my life to Christ after, when I was in SS3, or just after I graduated SS3. Like, I would say a month or two after I graduated from high school, then I gave my life to Christ. But SS1, I did not really care like that. I didn't really like going to church, but my mom would drag us every time. So we went to church that day, and the pastor looked at me and he said, the Lord said you're going to get a scholarship and you're going to study outside the shores of Nigeria. This was when I was in SS1. Okay, so God's promises come to pass, whether 20 years, 90 years, or 100 years. Hold on to his promise, guys. This video is for someone. Hold on to his promise, because he will bring his word to come to pass. So he said that to me. I was like, amen. I held on to that. I was like, that's my word. Such a wonderful word for someone to tell you that you're going to go outside of Nigeria. What? I held on to that word. So anyways, fast forward a few years. SS1 passed, SS2 passed, SS3 came, and I graduated from high school. And I already forgotten about the word. I mean, it was a good, strong word. I kept it in my back pocket, but I wasn't actively thinking about it. And so one day, my brother comes home with some forms, and he was like, oh, look, he found this form that there's this scholarship form that the government is giving scholarship to the youth of the state. So I'm from Rivers State in Nigeria. And that government, the government of Rivers State, was giving out scholarships to young people, and they've already done it a few years past, and they're giving out scholarships, and everybody can sign up, can apply. And so he took two forms, one for himself and one for me. And I thought, wow, okay. When he gave me the form, I remembered the word. I was like, oh. And mind you, at this point now, I have now given my life to Christ. I'm now a born-again believer. I'm not just following my mom to church. I have now known the Lord for myself, and still knowing him for myself. And so I was like, I think this is the word that they spoke of many years ago. So I took the form with expectation and hope that, okay, this might be it. This might also not be it, but it could be it. So I took the form. I filled out the form. My brother said the next day is the deadline, so we have to submit the form right away. So I filled out the form and gave it back to him. And he went and submitted it on our behalf, for both of us. So then I met one of my high school friends, one of my best friends from high school. She was like, oh, her auntie has some forms about, scholarship and all of that. I was like, oh, I think that's the form I just filled out. So everybody, it was a thing, like the whole state, everybody knew about this scholarship. I didn't even know that it was such a big deal. So I took the form, we submitted the form rather, and then they said that they were going to write an exam. So after you submit the form, I think the next month or so, they were going to schedule an exam. So everybody that filled out the form, you come and write the exam. And so my friend that I had reconnected with after high school, her dad had some study materials. So I would go to her dad's office. Me and her would go to her dad's office, and we'll just study with his computer at work, and whatever information that he had, we'll just study. We didn't even know what we're doing. We're just reading anything we see, English, biology, physics, chemistry, math. We're just doing it. So after we finished studying, it came time for the exam. Now there were going to be 10,000. Let me repeat, 10,000 1,000 young adults writing this exam. Very intimidating stuff, because when you see all the amount of people, you're like, who am I, Lord? Who am I that I qualified to be writing the exam? I don't even know why I'm here. And back then, I just given my life to Christ, like I said, and my mindset was very different. Like, I looked very different from what I look now, or how I look now. I wasn't wearing jewelry. I wasn't wearing nice, like, anything that, in fact, my clothes were here all the time. I wasn't wearing short skirts. I wasn't wearing pants. I was only skirt. I was very, I was looking very different. So that day when I remember getting to the venue, and I thought, I don't qualify to be here, Lord. Like, look at all these people. They look nice. They smell good. They look put together. And look at me. Like, why am I here? I was beginning to feel a little bit aware of myself and feel like, very low. But I remembered who I was in Christ, and I said, you know what, this doesn't matter. I kind of encouraged myself, and I continued. So I went there. They said we had 30 minutes to finish 50 questions. We had 5 subjects, 10 questions each. So we have 50 questions, and we had only 30 minutes to solve all of them. I was like, okay, bring it on. Like, it's not like I'm really prepared or anything, but like, it is what it is. I wasn't really struggling for the scholarship. I was just like, I think God said something about me. If this is the one, then he will do it. And so I just kind of moved like that. So we started solving the problem, blah, 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 going. I started to realize that some of the questions are some of the questions that me and my friend studied at her dad's office. I'm like, wait, what is happening here? I know this question. Answer, check. A bunch of them were the same things that we studied at her dad's office. So that was my advantage there. But then they said we only had 30 minutes. And once we say pens up, if you keep writing, you're disqualified. I don't want to be disqualified. So they said pens up. I lifted up my hands, but I had not finished. I still had 10 math questions that I had not touched. I had not started. So at the end of the day, I only did 40 questions out of the 50. Now, what is the guarantee that all 40 of them I was going to pass? I don't know. So I just kind of gave up. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. If the Lord said I qualify, he will do it. I remember getting home and telling my dad, and my dad was like, why didn't you finish? You know how African parents would say, the people that finish, do they have 2 heads? I said, there was not enough time, Dad. What do you expect from me? I just left it at that. I just put it in God's hands, and I went about my life. So I remember 1 month later, they said the results were going to be out 1 month later. So 1 month later, some random lady calls me, and she said, hey, are you Judith Jack? I said, yes. She was like, you qualified for you passed the exam, and you qualified for the next round of interview. And so you are supposed to be in so and so place on so and so day. She was the one giving me the information, because left to me, I did not know anything. I had no idea. I don't even know what my score was from the exam. Nothing. It was just a random lady that was telling me that. She called me from the office, and she was telling me, you're supposed to be here for interview, blah blah blah. I was like, oh wow, okay, thank you. I was very happy. I went and told my parents about it and everything. And so out of the 10,000 people that wrote this exam, 500 was now, the number had dropped to 500. So only 500 people qualified for the interview, and lo and behold, I was one of them. What? I was gonna be a part of the people that will be interviewed. What an honor. So anyways, I said, okay, cool, I'm gonna be there. So I got myself ready that day. I went to the place for the interview. I got there. I saw a lot of people that I knew, some like old high school friends from my other school that I went to. I was like, oh, you're here. Look at you. There was this feeling of nervousness and anxiety in the room, because everybody was like, we don't know what we're going to expect, blah, blah, blah. Some people, they were sending them back. Like, the government officials were kind of mean and rude. They would say, come, if your WAEC result doesn't match your name, you're disqualified. Anyways, and so mind you, I had just finished high school, so I wrote JAM. So for people that don't know what JAM is an exam that you write after you finish high school. So I wrote JAM, and I put UniBen as for the university that I wanted to go to. I passed my exams, but I also didn't qualify to be in medical department. I wanted to do medicine or pharmacy. I didn't qualify for those, so they gave me fishery and agriculture. So in my head, I was like, God, this scholarship has to work because I can't go do fishery and agriculture in school. So anyways, I went to the interview place. Everybody was anxious. Then anybody that comes out of the interview room, I would ask, how did it go? They'll say, oh, there are 3 people in there that are going to interview you, blah, blah, blah. They'll be talking. So anyways, it got to my turn. I got there and it was 3 people. Like they said, 2 men and 1 woman. They look like professors. I think they are professors. And so they sat me down and asked me my name and said I should sit down. And then they said, tell us, you have a choice. Your questions are going to be from chemistry, biology, physics, or math. Pick the 3 that you want. Me, pick math. Never going to be me. Because when I'm on the spot, maths just fly out of my head. Like, I don't remember nothing. So I picked chemistry, biology, and physics. They were like, okay, we're going to go ahead and start. So I remember them asking me. I was a bit shaky, but I had to compose myself. Is that a word? Compose myself. I had to compose myself. So as we're talking, another professor walks into the room. So now there are 4 people here questioning me like I committed a crime or something. So they asked me my chemistry questions, my biology questions. Now the last question was going to be from physics. I remember the question so strongly because that day, not even that day, it's something that I enjoy. I enjoy some physics like density, upthrust, mass, acceleration. I enjoy those things. So that was, lo and behold, the question that they decided to ask me. They said, so imagine we carry you as you are now and throw you in a drum of water. The water that spills out, calculate the amount of water that spilled out, the mass or whatever. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Now let me give you guys the answer. I was very hyped up. I was like, so the is called upthrust, and so to calculate the mass, I was telling them the formula, and they were like, oh, hold on, it's okay, we know you got it, we know you understand the question, you got the answer. They didn't even let me do any calculation, so I was grateful for that. And so yeah, they said, you did well, thank you, you've answered the questions. Then they asked me how will I, like, if they let me go outside of Nigeria, will I ever come back? And I was like, I pledged to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, blah blah blah. I was just pledging and singing the national anthem for them. So I ended up leaving the room. I was done with my interview. They were like, I did well. Just them saying that already gave me confidence, and I was happy. And so I left. I went home. Now we're gonna wait 4 more weeks for the results to come out. And so one day, and mind you, at this time in our lives, we're going through a rough patch in our family, and we didn't really have much. We're just living life. I was helping my mom with her business. I remember one day, it was rainy that day, and everywhere was kind of gloomy. I remember my parents were sleeping. So I was fixing the couch that was torn, and my phone vibrated, and I looked. It was a message. I opened the message, and it said, congratulations, dear beneficiary of the River State. I was like, oh my god, I got it. I was so happy. I ran to the bedroom and called my dad, like, come see, I passed, I got the scholarship. I called my mom and all of that, and they were so happy. Everybody was happy. That day turned from gloomy day to joy and happiness and anything you can think of. And so yeah, I qualified, I passed. I was gonna be going outside of Nigeria. I don't know where at this point, but I was just happy. And so they invited my mom and my dad and me to, this function with all other parents and students that qualified. And we got there and they told us what the scholarship was going to be about. It was going to be a fully funded scholarship and all of that. It was great. Everybody was happy. And so when we're done with that, they sent us to A-level schools. In A-level school, I don't know what came over me, but I couldn't really focus. Like, I didn't understand Jack. Like, nothing was working. I feel like there's a fog over my mind, over my brain. Like, nothing. I couldn't understand it. I would read, but it was just flying out my ear. Anyway, so after A-level school, while we're in A-level school, they came and they said, some students are going to be going to Germany, so everybody should write this German exam. Like, the medical students should write this German exam. So we wrote the exam. Mind you, I'm already feeling like I don't qualify to be here. Like, I'm seeing like real bookworms, like people that they're so smart. I'm like, why am I here, Lord? This is not my area. So I wrote this exam with all these smart people, and I ended up not passing the exam. And the list of people going to Germany came out, and my name was not on that list. I was so crushed. I was so broken. I was so sad. I was like, oh, God, I'm not, I was just feeling so bad. And so after that, they came and said, okay, the rest of those people that are not going to Germany, in fact, everybody should write an exam, SAT exam. So I wrote the SATs and I passed the SATs. It's not something we're using anytime soon, so we just kind of kept it aside. So after that, they said, after A levels, so the people another set of people are going to go to Czech Republic. I believe it was Czech Republic or Ukraine. So let's write another exam. And I didn't pass. I missed it by a mark or 2 points, I think. 2 points. And I'm like, why? Like, what happened? Like, I thought I had it. My mom was looking at me like, are you sure you have sense? Are you sure you're smart like that? I mean, am I hyping you up? Like, this is simple. This is the second or third exam you failed. Like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I wrote the exam. I thought I qualified for it. I thought I did good, but now that the results are out, I didn't do good. Like, I was kind of sad, like very deeply saddened by that. But at the end of the day, when I think back, I think that's God's way of redirecting me to where He wanted me to be. Because imagine if I passed any of those exams, I would have stopped there. Because people that passed the exam going to Germany and Czech, they said, oh, any other opportunity that came, it was more like, no, I'm already going to Germany, so that's not where I'm going. I'm not going to UK, so I'm not going to worry about what UK people are doing. But me that didn't pass, now I had to worry about where I was going to go. So anyways, they came and said, okay, I should write IELTS exam, me and a bunch of other people. I wrote the IELTS and I passed that one. So now I'm going to the UK, okay? That's what they said. I'm going to the UK. So they asked me to bring some paperwork to the office. So I went to the office that day to submit some paperwork. And the lady that I was looking for wasn't there. I saw another guy and he said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to the UK. He was like, go downstairs, I beg. There are a bunch of students going to the US there. Go and join them. I was like, what? I'm going to the UK now. Besides, I really wanted to go to the UK. I thought it was nice, their accent. I was like, all things work together for my good. I want to go to the UK. And then I have a cousin in UK too. And all of that, they're like, go to the US. So I was kind of sad. But I'm like, but I'm going. They say, don't ask questions. Just go and do what I tell you. So I was like, okay, fine. So I went downstairs. There are a bunch of people there that going to the US, and they asked me, have I written my SATs? I was like, yes, I have my SATs. They're like, okay, you can join us. So I'm sitting there. Then they say, they have a bunch of schools that they are allocating students to. They say, you're going here, you're going here, you're going here. So my name comes out on the list of students going to St. Andrews University in North Carolina, USA. I'm like, at this point, I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to sit. If they say jump up, I will jump. If they say come down, I will come. And so I ended up sitting there. And I remember one girl was sitting beside me and she said she doesn't like the name of this school. Like, the school's name is St. Andrews. She doesn't like the way that name sounds. So she ended up jumping ship to another school like that. And that was the last time I saw her, because her group never left. They never went. They never sent them out of the country. They ended up never leaving. Anyways, so I'm sitting there and they come and they said to us, all the other schools, they cannot go yet because their schools require them to pay tuition before they leave. But our school, St. Andrews University, they say we can come and start school, and when we have the money, we will pay. And at the moment, the government didn't have the funds to pay for tuition. So they ended up sending us, our I-20s and all of those things. Next thing you know, from sitting here with a bunch of US students, in the embassy and getting my visa, to go to the US, my passport stamped and everything. And just like that, I find myself on a plane going to the US. And I'm like, wait, I don't even know how things work, but things just work. And I didn't influence the decision in any way. I didn't work for it. Everything just happened the way God wanted it to happen, or wanted it to happen. And, at 18, just a few months after I celebrated my 18th birthday, I found myself in the US. And I look back and I say, really, truly, God's word comes to pass. Everything He says He will do. If He says to you that this, just go to sleep, take it to the bank, it will happen. And I know I used to tell myself, I said, if God makes me a promise, this world will not end before that promise will come to pass. Because I know the world's gonna end soon, but that promise will come to pass. That's what I know. And you know, his word says that his word will not return to him void. It will accomplish the thing for which he sent it. And he's not a man that he should lie. So anything he says will come to pass. So my story here, I'm trying to encourage somebody. Perhaps God has spoken a word over you or said something to you. It's been years and I don't know how long it's been. I just want to encourage you that God will not lie. And if he says something concerning you, he will definitely bring that thing to come to pass. So that's me encouraging you and telling you guys my story at the same time. So yeah, that's how I ended up coming to the US, and I've lived here for almost 10 years now, and God has been good. The road has been bumpy up and down, but you know, God made a promise to me and he has kept it, and he's still keeping me. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.